we can hop right on into it. Okay, so let's just dive straight in.
Sure.
What should pets stay away from during Thanksgiving, and what is are like some things that they can have? Because I know a lot of people like me, like especially around the holidays, want to give our pets a special treat or whatever. So what do you guys recommend for that?
So the biggest thing I see around the holidays is pets don't really handle high fat foods well, um, especially pork. So I really try to push to owners avoid giving any honey baked ham to your pets because you're going to end up with diarrhea and maybe pancreatitis. Things you can give are white meat turkey is a good option, no skin. Avoid cooked bones, like do not give your pet the ham bone. That's going to end up causing problems. Just one second, I'm going to close the door. Um, you want to just nothing greasy, nothing spicy, nothing really sugary. So, if you're having like a green bean casserole and you want to give your pup a green bean, rinse it off. Um, Bone broth is fine. Um, Moderation, you don't want to like fill their bowl. I give my dog sweet potatoes as treats, but those aren't like sweet potatoes from a sweet potato pie. So try to stick to lighter, leaner meats, more bland vegetables, things like that. My big thing, and having worked ER in the past and also as a general practitioner, the biggest thing that I see is pork related problems like bacon, ham, cooked bones tend to fracture. They're softer than raw bones. Also, stay away from like turkey necks, turkey bones, things like that.
Awesome. And what type of portion sizes are we looking at? Can they have two or three like slices of turkey? Or is it better to just have one? Like what does that look like?
I think that really depends on the size of the dog. Um, your Chihuahua maybe doesn't need two or three slices of turkey, but they can have a couple of bites. So the bigger dogs can handle a little bit more, but you have to know your own pet. Are they a pet that if you give them a new treat they get diarrhea? Because nobody wants to go to the emergency clinic or try to find an open veterinarian over the holidays, and so it's much better to avoid than to try to treat.
And what are some symptoms that pet owners should look out for if maybe their pet, I know with me, it gets kind of hectic around the house. Sometimes I lose track of where my pets are doing. They might get into something I don't know about. So, what are some symptoms that pet parents should look out for?
Lack of appetite, lethargy, laying around. Because dogs and cats like the holidays. They're interested, and cats maybe hide some. But if you're having people over and your dog's like getting up and interacting with them, and that's abnormal for your dog, they're trying to tell you something. A lot of times, dogs that are nauseous or have an upset stomach, they'll pant for no reason, no, not exercise, not hot, just laying on their bed panting, asking to go out more frequently than usual, or if they have a doggy door, going outside and through the doggy door more frequently than usual. Sometimes dogs and cats with diarrhea will drink a lot of water because they're losing a lot of fluid. So it's just kind of important things. That can all be very difficult to assess if your dog has anxiety around people coming to your house, and so they hide and they pant. Um, if possible, I would try to walk them outside at least once a day with you so that you can kind of see what they're doing.
And what kind of problems do you guys see most? I know you talked about pancreatitis. What are some things that pet parents should be aware of? Some are th is could eating, onions or chocolate or whatever, is it deadly? Because I know people talk about that a lot. So what does that look like?
Chocolate is a dose dependent toxin. Baking chocolate, the unsweet chocolate, and high levels of dark chocolate, those are the most toxic forms. Um, so at lower doses, it's going to make GI problems. At higher doses, that becomes neurological problems. And so that's one thing. Honestly, I think chocolate is probably one of the less things that we see, unless you've got like a thing of brownies out. But a lot of times that's really diluted. So your dog may get an upset stomach, but I don't see a lot of neurological toxicity from chocolate. Onions, onions are toxic. They do cause hemolytic anemia, tends to be 24, 36 hours after they eat them. And hemolytic anemia is where the body attacks the red blood cell and breaks it apart. And so you end up having too low of a red blood cell count to carry oxygen to your organs. And that dog is going to be weak, lethargic. They may have little red spots of hemorrhage on their ears, and they will sometimes like yellow. The biggest things that I see after the holidays are what I call a dietary indiscretion, which, sometimes we need to take a Pepto after we eat Thanksgiving dinner. Those same symptoms your dog might be seeing. And then obstruction. So getting trash out of the trash can, whether that's aluminum foil, plastic packaging. And then, like we talked about before, kind of touched on those cooked bones. Those can cause a ginormous problem for pets.
And what should someone do if their pet does get into something? I know um, over the holidays, a lot of just regular vets are closed, so you only have ER vets as options. What can people do to maybe like relieve the the pain that the pet's feeling, or if they can't get into an emergency vet, like what should they do?
So I tend to do small amounts of water frequently. The other thing is, if you or I have the stomach virus, we're not going to eat maybe for a day. And it's okay for dogs and sometimes cats not to eat for a full 24 hours. And so fast them, rest their stomach. That means if they're having this like crazy diarrhea with urgency and there's nothing for them to defecate out, it's going to help rest the belly a little bit. Sometimes if it's an uncomplicated, I know my dog ate something, I know it was just like a little turkey or a little green beans or a little mashed potatoes and it's not agreeing with him and he's a young healthy dog, sometimes I'll do Imodium, um, the generic people Imodium, and you can call the emergency clinic and ask them for the vet, ask the vet for the dose on that. The other thing is, if you are concerned about a toxicity, there is a pet poison hotline, and they will ask you, what did your dog eat? How much of it did they eat? And how much does your dog weigh? And if you're feeling that unsure about, should I go to the ER? Should I not go to the ER? Should I wait it out? That kind of can help bridge that gap.
Awesome. Well, is there anything else that I've maybe missed that you want to add or you want people to know?
Um, I think my big thing, other than the dietary stuff, is during the holidays, make sure you're keeping your collar and your tags on your pets because you're having people come in and out of your house. And that means your door is open more frequently than usual. And so a lot of pets will get loose during the holidays. And then the shelters are very crowded. So it's just easier to have your tags on, your identifying information. And, if you don't have your pet microchipped, that might be something that you consider in the future. It's just another safeguard against that. The last thing would be you're having people in your home that your pet maybe doesn't know well. That may include small children. And so, know, communicate boundaries with your guests as far as your dog or your cat. If they're a stress bucket and maybe they need to be put in a bedroom with the door closed to have kind of like a timeout, some wellness time, that's a good option. Don't think of it as you're punishing them. A lot of the time, those animals are stressed, and this is their comfort zone. It gives them a safe space to hide. Because when we don't have a safe space to hide, we act out, whether that's eating or running out the door or vocalizing. And we just want everyone to have a fun, safe holiday. And the pets are the part of the family too. So let's make that as easy for them as it is for us.
Awesome. Thank you so much for talking with me today. I really
You're very
appreciate it.
welcome. You are very welcome.
Well, if I have any more questions, I will definitely reach out to you guys.
Please do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Take care. Have a happy
Bye.
holiday.
You too.